Okay, we are going to answer this question. This is one of the most common questions that most of the young people ask from me. Can Buddhism be explained through science? First of all, before answering this question, we need to clarify what is the objective of science and what is the objective of Buddhism. The objective of science, to simply say, to observe the outer world, explore the outer world. For an example, science, what science does is it observes this outer world, the planets, how the world works, how the nature works, how the technology works, how the current works, how the atoms, protons, neutrons, quarks, and this dark matter, everything works. The outer world, the material world. While Buddhism explores how it works within you, right? How the world that is within you works. Your mind, your consciousness, your perception, right? How these things form and how these things work. And also, Buddhism gives you the support to make your life, make your inner self better. Okay? So, to simply say, science explores the outer world and Buddhism and spirituality, spiritual practices, explore the inner world. Okay? Now one can ask, can I explain Buddhism and can I prove Buddhism that is true through science? Not always you can do that. Because if you try to understand Buddhism through this perspective of science, through the scope of and through the frame of science, it's something like this. You're trying to explain something that goes into two opposite ways. Because science observes the outer world and Buddhism and spiritual practices observe the inner world. Can you fully explain what is within you through the science? No, because there are some parts that goes beyond the scientific experiments, scientific explanations. Okay? And there are some parts that in spiritual practices and all these practices doesn't agree with science. Okay, so we need to understand that these two things serve different purposes, that we need to use these two things in different contexts and different places because we need both. One can say, I've heard people say that we don't need science, we just need spirituality, we just need Buddhism, we just need meditation. No, without science, right, without the advancement of the science, how can we thrive? Right? How can we make this world a better place? Look around us, right? Look how many things that science, how much better things that science has made. For an example, I'm talking to you, right? You're watching this video. Why? With the help of the science. Okay? So yes, we need science to thrive. We need science to make this world a better place, right? But we need to understand, science only cannot make this world a better place. Because science can make the material things better, give you the material comfort, make everything convenient, right? Make everything comes to your tip of your hand, right? And understand everything, the complexities of this universe. Science will do that. While Buddhism, spirituality will answer your spiritual problems. Right? To make your life a better one, make your inner self more kind, right? More compassionate, more calmer person, right? It will help you to build up your inner qualities, inner values, right? So we need to practice and we need to understand these two things together, but we should not mess these things up. Okay? So then the question is, can Buddhism be explained through science? Up to some part, not everything. Okay, because simply it goes into two different ways. Okay, so we need to understand science as science, right? When we learn science and when we understand science, we need to understand it as it is. And when we come to Buddhism, we should not take the perspective of science to Buddhism and understand it, right? We should understand it as it is, because it serves a different purpose. So when you practice these two in balance, right? And when you understand clearly what are the purpose of these two practices are, then it will be easy for you to practice and develop your outer self and also develop your inner self. Okay, so I hope you got some idea about the science and Buddhism. So I wish you all, may you be healthy, may you be happy, and may you be peaceful. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Dear meritorious devotees and my dear children, today from this Q&A program, we are going to discuss about the mindfulness. Now normally, most of the people who practice the spirituality and meditations ask from us that, how can I be mindful? How can I practice mindfulness? And most of you ask that, how can I be in the present without going in the arena of past and the future? So today we are going to learn how to be in the present as well as how to be mindful. Our great teacher Supreme Buddha described us, there are 4 types of establishments of mindfulness. The first one is the mindfulness of the body. It is known as the Kaya Anupassana. Second one is the mindfulness on the feelings. It is called the Vedana Anupassana. Third one is the mindfulness of the mind, Chitta Anupassana. And finally, it is the mindfulness of the phenomena, Dhamma Anupassana. These 4 types of establishments are taught by our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. So, in these 4 types of establishments of mindfulness, one of the major establishments of mindfulness is the mindfulness of the body. So we can practice the mindfulness towards our body. So today we are going to learn a wonderful and important meditation that we can bring into our practical life. So normally, most of the people, they don't have the time to do meditations. They are busy they are living a busy life. So this meditation will help you to bring a meditation to your busy life and to practice it while you are doing your day-to-day works. So this meditation is known as Iriyapatha meditation. It means contemplation of our mind on our bodily postures. Supreme Buddha advised us that you should direct your mind to be contemplated, be concentrated, and be aware of your bodily postures. If you are being mindful on your bodily postures, it means you are living in the present. Supreme Buddha described it like this: Gacchanto va gacchamiti pajanati. If you are walking, when you are walking, you have to understand that you are walking. Titom va titom hiti pajanati. When you are sitting down, you have to understand that you are sitting down. When you are lying down, you have to understand that posture. When you are doing this, when you are being aware of your postures, bodily postures, your mind stays in the present as well as you are mindful about your body, what you are doing. So this meditation can be practiced while you are doing your day-to-day activities. Whether you are sweeping, cleaning your house, you can be mindful on that action. While you are cooking, you can be mindful about your bodily postures. Here's one practical way to do that. Now, normally, our mind is not ready to be mindful always. If we command our mind to stay mindful, now you should stay mindful, Mind is not ready for that. So we can trick our mind and we can make our mind to stay mindful and to stay present. So what we have to do is, we have to ask a simple question from our mind, from ourselves. That question is, what am I doing now? Now, if I ask from myself that what am I doing now, I can answer for that. Now, if I ask from myself, I can answer it. I am sitting on a chair, I am talking, and I am moving my hands. So when you ask that question, you become aware of what you are doing, your current posture of your body. So when you become aware of that, your mind quickly comes into the present and it comes into the mindfulness. So when you're doing certain things throughout the day, what you have to do, just ask from your mind that what you are doing. What am I doing? Then you will get answers. Then you will understand that you are doing something. Now normally, we do so many things at a time. Right? We try to do so many things at one time. So that should not be done, because when we do so many things at a time, at one time, our mind becomes busy. It will easily distracted and it loses its mindfulness. So it is much better to do one thing at a time. Now, how many of you watch the TV while eating? How many of you use the mobile phone while you are eating? Now, people who are using the smartphones, they know that when they eat, they take their mobile phone and they scroll through social media or whatever. They do so many things with their mobile phone. When you are doing that, remember, you are losing your mindfulness. And also, you are not completely using your mobile phone, or you are not completely watching the TV, as well as you are not completely enjoying your food. So that is why it is very essential to do one thing at a time. So when you are eating, what you have to do, just eat. While you are watching the TV, don't do anything, just watch it. Right? So normally when you are eating, you can feel that warmth and texture and taste of that food. Right? If you are being aware of that perceptions, that feelings, then you can bring the mindfulness even while you are eating. Right? So what you have to do, the first thing to do is do one thing at a time. Don't eat while you are watching the TV. Don't use your mobile phone while eating. Right? It's just kind of slow down your process and progress and your activities, but it's very essential for the concentration of your mind, for the calmness of your mind. Right? So if you're continuously observing what you are doing about your bodily postures, right, you are being aware of it. Now, why we should be aware of our body and our mind? Why should we be mindful? So these are the benefits of being mindful. Now, before doing something, if you are mindful, before doing something, you can detect and you can determine whether it is a good one, good action, or a bad thing. Whether should I do this thing now or should not. You can decide what to do and what not to before doing that. Now, normally we do so many evil things without any awareness, without much thinking. So if you are mindful, it is much easy and it will be a great help to protect the precepts, to refrain from evil things, evil deeds. So that helps for your virtues. That helps to your virtuous life. That is the first benefit. And by being mindful, by focusing on our body, by being mindful on our body, you can concentrate your mind. Your mind becomes calm and it is concentrated, because mind does not wander here and there when you are being mindful on your body. It kind of cool down and concentrated and tranquilize your mind. That is the second benefit. Third benefit, if you practice this deeply, this meditation, being mindful on your body, Supreme Buddha described us that you can realize the true reality of this life, of this world, that leads to the wisdom. So this being mindful helps you for the virtues. This is called the sila. Second thing is the concentration of your mind. It is called the samadhi. And third, you can lead this mindfulness to the wisdom. That is called the prajna. So by being mindful, you can gain these benefits to your life. So as a summary, first of all, the main thing to do to be mindful is to do one thing at a time. Don't rush your mind. Okay? That is the first step. As the second step, always ask that simple question from your mind. What is it? What am I doing now? When you ask that simple question, you can be mindful about what you are doing. So when you practice this mindfulness, you can be happy. It tranquilizes your mind and you will attain a calm and quiet and peaceful mind throughout the day. So I wish you all, by practicing this mindfulness, may you attain a peaceful and wonderful mind to your life. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvon Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Today from this Inner Guide Q&A program, we are going to discuss how to be more productive in meditations. Today I'm going to share with you 3 tips which helps you a lot in meditations, to do your meditations without stopping. The first and the foremost tip that you need to practice in your meditations is to keep your expectations low. Because most of us sit for the meditation expecting that I'm going to meditate for 1 hour and I'm going to be concentrated throughout this meditation. Sometimes our mind is not ready to be concentrated. Now you know the nature of mind is it's like a monkey. It always runs here and there. It is easily distracted, easily frustrated. It is very clumsy. So if you make too much expectations, you will start to suffer because you are not having what you want in that meditation. So what you have to do is you have to know that the mind is impermanent. It will not be the same always. Sometimes your mind is very calm and quiet, and sometimes it will be frustrated and it will be more clumsy than you ever thought. So what you have to do, if you are meditating for maybe 15 minutes, if your mind become concentrated for only 1 minute, just you have to be happy with that. Do not expect too much, because the expectations stands for the sufferings. The more we expect, the more we will suffer. So keep your expectations low. When you are meditating, you always have to think that I will do my meditation as I can. Whether my meditation or whether my mind is concentrated for maybe 1 minute, it's okay. I can be happy with that. If you become happy with what you have, then you can move on. You have that willpower. You will get that willpower to move on to the next meditation. So people become frustrated when they meditate and when they not get what they want. So that is the first tip. Number 2, don't force your mind. Because the more we try to force our mind, the more our mind will be destructive. It's like a monkey. If we try to force a monkey to sit on a chair, what will happen? The monkey will not do that. It is not ready to do that. Same goes with your mind. If you force too much your mind to do the meditation, it will be frustrated and it will be panic more and more. So what you have to do not force your mind. Just let your mind to feel comfortable and relaxed in meditation. When your mind feels relaxed and comfortable in meditations, it will like to do the meditation again and again. So what you have to do is not to force your mind for the meditation too much. And that brings us for the third step. It is the consistency. There are some days that you don't get any concentration in your mind, in your meditations, right? Though you meditated for maybe 30 minutes, your mind would not be concentrated. But you should not give up. You should not stop. Because if we practice this consistency throughout this meditation, one day, there will be a day that your mind will get concentrated and your mind will obey your instructions. So what you have to do? Never give up in your meditations. Do it whether you got bad results also. Practice consistency. Consistency is the key for the perfection. Right? You don't want to be talented. You don't want to be clever at first in meditations. What you have to do, all you need to hang on to that meditation and do it again and again and again. One day, you will be perfect at meditations. So, practice these 3 tips and have a perfect and peaceful meditation in your life. Namo Buddhaya, Therwan Sarana. Namo Buddhaya. Dear meritorious devotees and my dear children, one of the major questions that a young generation, students ask from us is, Bhante, how we can focus our mind when we are studying? How we can focus our mind when the exam is near? So this is a big question that students and young generation are having. So first of all, we must know that staying focused, being concentrated, staying calm is not an act. Staying calm and staying focused is a practice. We need to be practiced to stay focused. So what is the nature of a practice? Practice is something that you do again and again continuously for a certain period of time. And when the continuity happens, you get used to that. It becomes a practice. You no longer need to put an effort to do that. So we do many things in our life as practices. Getting up at a certain time is a practice. Soon after you get up, you brush your teeth and you do your cleaning purposes. It's a practice. So as that, there are so many practices that run through our day. We do many things as practices. Staying focused is a practice. So we need to practice it. So how to practice it? First of all, we need to know that we are dealing with our mind to stay focused. So before staying focused, Before practicing to stay focused, we need to know about our mind. How the mind works, how the mind behaves. Supreme Buddha taught us, the nature of this mind is like a monkey. So what is the nature of a monkey? The monkey is easily distracted. Monkey does not stay at one place. It runs through here and there. It jumps from one tree to another. It shouts and it runs everywhere. It is easily distracted and disturbed. So the same nature is there with our mind. Our mind is like a monkey which jumps from one thought to another very rapidly. So what we have to do to stay focused? We have to make this monkey mind. We have to train this monkey mind to stay at one place. It is same as catching a monkey and putting him into a cage. So what do we need to do to catch a monkey and put him into a cage? We need to practice or train that monkey to come into the cage and live inside that. If we catch the monkey and put him into the cage at once, it will be distracted even more. So what we have to do, we just need to open the cage and put some foods inside and let the monkey comes in and grab the food and go. So in the first day, the monkey comes in and grab the foods and it runs away. What we have to do then in the next day is to put some foods again. The monkey comes in the next day and it grabs the foods and runs away. If we keep on putting food inside the cage for a little time, the monkey gets used to it and it starts to think that it is very safe inside this cage than being in the forest. I get my food and I am safe inside it, so I must live in this cage. Same like that, dear meritorious devotees and my dear children, we have to train our mind to be at one place. So how to do that? We can do certain meditations and certain tricks to stay focused and to keep our mind within ourselves. It is quite normal the mind to be distracted easily. That is the nature. It runs everywhere. It runs from thoughts to thoughts very rapidly. So what we have to do, we have to keep on taking back the lost consciousness or the lost contemplation again and again to our focusing thing. So for an example, when we do meditation, it is quite normal. Our mind will easily be distracted when we are doing the meditation. So for an example, if we are doing the breathing meditation, we keep on thinking about the flow of breath. But the mind is not ready to stay at in that moment, in that focus point. So what the mind does? It jumps out of our focusing thought and it runs away. So as an example, when we are doing the meditation, the mind will wander here and there for a long time. So what we have to do? We have to keep on taking that lost contemplation to the focusing thought or to the meditation. So same thing that we can apply to our mind. So when you are studying, if you are at your class, if you are doing a meditation, it is quite normal that our mind to be easily distracted. All we need to do is we have to take back that lost contemplation again to what we are focusing on. If you are studying, if you have lost your contemplation, once you are aware of that, take back again to it. If you are meditating, if you have lost your contemplation, take back your lost contemplation to that meditating thought and do your meditation. If you keep on doing this, if you keep on practicing focusing on yourself, the mind will make a habit of it. Because what we think again and again and again, what we do again and again and again will become a practice easily. So what we have to do to take back the lost focus and the contemplation to ourself, we need to keep on practicing it. At the beginning, it will be overwhelming and distracting. Don't worry. What we have to do is, we have to keep on doing this again. We have to practice the continuity. If you practice this continuously, your mind will focus one day. So you have to be ready for that. You have to study about your mind. You have to study about your life. You have to practice focusing on yourself. Once you get used to focus on yourself, it is very easy to do your studies and your meditation and your spiritual practice. So if you make your mind well focused and contemplated one, you can attain successful goals in your life. Namo Buddhaya.